population. This is engineered. We can clearly see billions of people are about to be starved to death. And that's why they've spent years building up the infrastructure to invade countries as well with the migration. The human osmotic pressure from famine is intense. That's the HOP. Human osmotic pressure is the push and pull of migration. That's why we spent so much time in Darien Gap, obviously. And Thailand right now is already starting to have problems. Why is this important? A lot of these countries, like I'm in Japan right now. Japan just can't produce enough of its own food, period. So it's dependent on countries like Thailand.
So not only do we have Qatar Energy with its gas completely offline at the moment because the strait is closed, but we have UAE oil offline, and right now, like this could be reversed largely if the strait were opened tomorrow, but that would require Trump to do something sane, like agree to take a loss and leave and let the strait open back up again. And I don't see that that's going to happen. Do you? Like, how do you think Trump is going to handle this? Because it looks like he's just going to keep going full escalation and making it worse. What do you think?
Full escalation and make it worse, because this is the actual plan. The reason that, again, we're so accurate on these predictions is we're not throwing darts, right? Or let's say we're throwing darts with a very trained arm, right? I mean, we have an idea of what they're doing. We may miss sometimes, but we're hitting bullseyes one after another, year after year, right? And so I would keep eyes on places like Strait of Malacca over near Singapore and in Indonesia, Malaysia. I mean, I think that will probably be closed. Panama Canal is very important for food going back and forth. I keep a sharp look on Panama. We were just up at the Danish Strait. I think there's a high chance that's up in obviously Denmark, German area, Sweden area. There's an obvious possibility that'll be closed. That's part of the menu. You look at the Turkish Strait. Turkish Strait is something that I flew in to see the prime minister or former prime minister of Thailand about years ago, warning about Turkish Strait and Strait of Hormuz. If the Turkish Strait were to be closed, that would have immediate effects on Thailand and or the Strait of Hormuz, right? Now we have the Strait of Hormuz, has immediate effects on the globe, not just Thailand. I was just focused on Thailand because that's where I happened to be at, or I flew in to talk with him because Thailand's so important on food supply. Now, why is the Turkish Strait so important that Israel is threatening now? It's so important because Ukrainian and Russian fertilizer flow through the Bosphorus, also called the Turkish Strait. So you've got these various chokeholds like Panama, Strait of Gibraltar, Suez, Turkish Strait, Bab el-Mandeb, Strait of Hormuz, obviously, Malacca. I think that, and the Danish Strait, I think that you can easily, we were just up in Hamburg, Germany, looking at that as well. Hamburg is the third biggest port in Europe, and it's the biggest in Germany. I think there's a high possibility you'll see places like Rotterdam, Antwerp, Hamburg, eventually also disrupted because
you're talking about a global lockdown. I mean, if these routes are shut down, you mentioned the Strait of Malacca as well. My God, I mean, India is already struggling to try to get energy right now. If you close down the Strait of Malacca, that cuts off India from much of East Asia in terms of manufacturing, as well as imports and exports. India's economy collapses. India is already begging China for urea in order to run its fertilizer facilities, in order to feed the Indian people, many of whom live on the edge of poverty right now. We're talking about mass starvation in India for starters, right? I mean, it's one of the most vulnerable countries that I can think of. And Indonesia.
Pakistan and India. I spent about a year in India. And I spent all over India. Now, that's one of the things that I flew in to see